All right, so this is our video for the couch stretch. Now, one of the most limited positions that we have in our body is traditionally hip extension. Now, the reason why I'm going to tell you that this is important is because if we lack hip extension, what that usually translates into is low back pain, all right, limitations with how our hip can rotate, okay, specifically into internal rotation and extension. But most importantly, it's really about, hey, can we do something that's going to be able to offload our low back? Okay, so I want to kind of just like dive into this just a little bit more. Now, if you think about this, a majority of our time throughout the day is spent in a flex position, right? So if I'm just like sitting here, at my job, or on my device at the screen, a lot of the times, right, the soft tissue, the muscles along the front of my hips just ends up getting short. The whole saying goes is the position that you spend most of your time in is what you're going to assume throughout the day. Right, so we found out that even kids who are in school sit for at least like 6 hours a day, combined with like their commute to and from school, and then you can also translate into that your commute, right, with your job and with your commute. So if we're spending about 30% of our day in a flex position, it's rightly so understandable that when we try to stand up and just like straighten our hips, it's going to be a lot more challenging. Okay, so what is it that we can do to help us improve that extension so that we don't have to compensate through our back? All right, and this is going to be the couch stretch. So with the couch stretch, there are three main positions that we have to be able to achieve and strive for. Okay, I'm going to show you this. The first position here, right, is going to be actually position number one. Now, so what I'm going to do here is, at home, if you have a sofa, this is something where you can just kind of position yourself on the ground. You can put your back foot here on the couch, right? You can wrap around the top of it, that's fine. But what I want to be able to do here, right, is I'm going to start down on both of my knees, and the opposite leg's going to stride forward. Now, you guys are looking at me from the side right here, and what I'm looking to be able to do, right, is kind of create this visual. I want to create a straight line from my knee to my hip to my shoulder, right? Without feeling, I don't know if I can do that. So what I'm saying is I don't want to feel like you have to throw my butt back because I don't have the ability to just like straighten out from here if everything feels tight. Now, here's the thing. When we get into this position, we're not just going to stay here. What we want to be able to know too is, can I go ahead and actually flex this muscle, right? Flex my glute. Can I engage that muscle voluntarily here? Or how powerfully, how active can I engage that? Okay, that's a really important thing. Because, again, when we stand up, when we're standing, we want to be able to say, hey, I can go ahead and engage my glutes, because if I can engage my glutes while I'm standing, then I don't have to pull from anything in my lower back, okay? So let me get back down here again. So once we get down into the ground, we establish that this first position here in the couch stretch is okay, then we're going to go ahead and give ourselves permission now to go into step two, which is going to be this. We're still going to keep our hands on the ground. Now what we're going to do is we're going to step that opposite leg just forward, okay? Now here, you can't see the amount of pain that I'm in, okay? This is intense right here. I feel a tremendous amount of tightness and tension through the front of my thigh, my left thigh right here, the one that has the knee down, okay? But what I want to be able to do again is if you swivel around to the side profile view, is that I still want to see, can I keep a relatively straight line and relationship between my shoulder, my hip, and my knee? What a lot of us are going to find is that we're going to want to throw our butt back to take tension off, and that's totally understandable, especially if you haven't been able to get into this type of position and practice this pretty frequently, all right? So now, though, we get into this position, we have to focus on a couple key things. First thing is, are you breathing? Because if you're not, right, I'm going to encourage you to kind of take some of that tension off, alleviate that a little bit. Even if you have to put your hands down, get your chest down a little bit to take that off and be able to breathe. The second thing is, are you able to still engage that glute? Are you able to feel like you can flex that muscle? Now, here's the thing. When you flex that muscle and you engage it, you're going to feel a lot more wind up in the front here. So don't panic. Lightly just increase the amount of intensity where you can go ahead and engage your glute, but still try to manage your breathing, okay? That's really important. All right, so say for example, right, I'm just going to come off that position for a little bit. Say for example, you've been practicing this, okay, for a little while, and I'm not saying like just a couple of minutes. I'm actually saying some consistency over the course of days, maybe even weeks, okay? because that's what it's going to take for you to get into a more comfortable position. I'm going to take you through step position number 3 now. All right, so I'm going to get back down to the ground. We've got a quick review again, right? So this is position number 1. Position number 1, from here, am I able to get a straight line relationship from my shoulder, my hip to my knee? Can I engage my glute? Check, I'm good. Okay, after I've done that for a little bit, I've opened up that soft tissue. It's a lot easier for me to do that. Can I get that other leg forward, okay, and still kind of get close to that straight line relationship? You don't have to be perfect right now. That's fine, okay? But then now we're going to say, okay, I've mastered that. I'm going to take myself into position 3. Now this right here is very, very difficult, okay? We're going to go ahead and start to get our hands off the ground and start to get our chest up more. And our goal here is to be able to say, can I get my butt back towards my heel or closer to it? Now, if you need something to assist you, that's totally fine. This is what I need right now. It's been a little while since I've focused on this, okay? So we want to start to build up to this, being able to come up unassisted here, get our chest up off the ground or more vertical, get our hip and our butt back closer to our heel, okay, with our hands off the ground. Now here is the same thing. Can I breathe? I'm barely breathing, so I'm going to kind of ease off my tension here. But the most important thing is when I get to this position, can I go ahead and engage my glute, okay? So we want to be able to focus on that. All right, so that right there is the ultimate goal. One of the common mistakes that I see is that we see these things when we Google couch stretch on the internet, is that we rush from going from position 1, 2, right to 3 when we haven't fully even owned those other positions. All right, so this is the video for the couch stretch, and these are the progressions. So I'm going to encourage you again, as much as we want to get to that last step, you actually have to earn it. It's going to take some time, and that's okay. All right, so just I'm going to encourage you, stay in the game, be patient, and eventually you'll be able to get to step 3 of the couch stretch.